How's it going, Laser Bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome to the remainder, Act 1. This is a visual novel that's being released episodically, and the first act is out at some point in June. I don't think it has a day just yet, but it's not out as of yet. The developer was kind enough to send us over a copy for Act 1. Apparently it's each act is quite short, probably about an hour's worth for Act 1. But it does have branching narrative, multiple endings and that sort of stuff, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But if you want to see more, we can always do Act 2 when it comes out and Act 3 when it comes out. You know, revisit it as new stuff comes out. But for now, let's jump in and see what it's all about, shall we? Because I don't really know much about it. How to play. The years, yeah. Act 1. It's got a very striking look, as you can see. Waves crash in the distance. Cicadas chirp, a breeze caresses our hair. The sun warms our skin. All is well. We're sitting on a rug laid on the grass, hands linked together. Our singing voices float up in unison. My chest vibrates. I can feel the air in our bodies move as one. The space between us hums with power. I close my eyes and smile. Savoring the feeling, my dream is coming true. Just a little longer. Their singing falters and I peer at them curiously, trying to hide my annoyance. Why did you stop? They squeeze my hand with a smile and shake their head. Their skin is cold and clammy. Huh? What's gotten into you, I ask. They gesture at the sky with an outstretched hand. I look up. The sun is ducked behind a cloud, drops of wetness fall, softly patting the ground. You don't see it yet, do you? I frown, still peering up. What do you mean? When I lower my gaze, they're not there. Pressing my lips together, I stand up and search around me. Where did you go? It's pouring now. The cicadas are silent. Wind rips at my clothes. I look at my hands. Thick, warm, red. A sweet scent fills my nostrils. I venture a lick, metallic, greasy. What Allura's name is happening? Darkness falls. Soon I can barely make out the silhouette of my hands. A sense of urgency grips me. I run to the tower and throw open the door, shouting, "Where are you?" Empty halls stretch before me, echoing my question. In the far end, a figure is walking away into the dark. Hey, wait! Shouting, I run after them, feet pounding upon the sticky wet stones, echoing loudly. Squelch, squelch, squelch. I said, wait! What was their name again? Why can't I remember? Why are you surprised? What? My, look at you, the voice chuckles. Falling short where it counts again. I ignore it and keep running. Sink the name. I'll know them when I find them. I grab the slippery doorknob and barge into the room. Nothing. Another door. Nothing. I run my hands over my hair, fingers digging into my scalp. What the... I recoil when I realize the sticky stuff is smeared all over. I wipe it on my clothes, but it won't come off. Sink this, I curse. Clench my teeth and storm through yet another door. Look at the poor great Magus, all alone in their tall stone prison. Shut up, my voice echoes back as I stand in an empty room. Hot breaths rasp in my throat. Why was I running so hard? Why am I so tired? Why was I struggling? My legs tremble and I sink to my knees. It's alright. Everything's fine. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter now. Eyelids heavy, comforting numbness envelops me. I close my eyes and crumble to the floor, just for a moment. Everything's fine. The sea in every direction, endless, a diamond dusting of moonlight across the surface above me. I look down into the depths, a pressure against my chest as the darkness stirs. A star, then two, then a constellation glitters into life. They approach. The darkness was not the bottomless sea, but the body of an enormous fish. Its silhouette filling my entire view. A gaping mouth splits open from horizon to horizon, a deeper black within, approaching, buzzing. The progenitor hag, Spruthral, comes for me. I should be afraid. Her mouth, now all-encompassing, blots out the last remainder of feeble illumination around me. I should be afraid. Why am I not? The mouth shuts with a distant clang, a flash of lightning across the eyelid sky. Wake up. Come on, wake up. Prickling light in the comforting darkness. A rumbling rises and falls in an anti-music rhythm. Calm coolness gives way to crushing heat. A blanket of boulders smothers me. Hey, you alright? Do you hear me? My eyes struggle to open to a face. Oh no, go away. Someone grips my shoulders and squeezes. Still a bit out of it, huh? That metallic and greasy buzzing sound crescendos and my mouth tastes of iron. A hand is laid upon my forehead. I open my eyes again. It's easier this time, but the rest of my body is still heavy as stones. I can't budge a hair. Feverish, but no obvious wounds. You'll be fine, I dare say. Their brows furrow deeper. Stay still and listen to me carefully. Your spell had gone very, very wrong. It's gonna kill us, and I haven't got much time to fix it. After a pause, they pat my hand as if an afterthought. What are you talking about? What spell? I work my stiff tongue. Don't worry about that, just stay put. I'll deal with it. They turn and stride off. Hey, wait, what's that? A hoarseness burns my throat and I wheeze. I peer around, try to get hold of my surroundings. I must be dizzy still. Everything's spinning. Why are the books flying? I squeeze my eyes shut again. This is not happening, I'll wake up soon. Sounds trickle in, rustling, clinking, a storm raging outside, a guttural buzzing. How can I sleep like this? Annoyed, I drag myself sluggishly to my feet. An urge to gag rises, rubbing my throbbing temples, tasting a foulness in my mouth. I force down the bile. What did I do last night? That incessant buzzing. I rub my eyes again to clear them and look for the source of the sound. As I catch a sight of it, a cold terror creeps up my spine. A pulsing, churning thing is suspended in the air like space is swallowing itself. Waves of moist, brilliant heat spew from it. The transparency, the symmetry, the stench, the singing. Breath catching in my throat, I freeze. What in Lura's name is that? Shapes huddle beneath the grotesque thing in the air. As I step around to get a better look, they resolve into figures, midnight silent and still as bones. The white-haired person who woke me earlier stands still. Another person is curled up on the floor. Their face, a mask of anguish. The emblem of a High Magus hangs around their neck. The image of an eel coils around their arm. Why do I know these symbols? Whitehair's hands are raised in a peculiar gesture toward the vortex looming overhead. Hey, I whimper. What are you doing? What is that thing? It looks like they're frozen in place. Hello? I ask again. No movement. I bump into something and look to see a couch. Beside it there's a table on which cups lay about like drunkards. Inkwells, quills and crumpled papers are strewn across the table and stones beneath. A few bottles are still dripping from the mouths. Dark red spots splatter across the floor. A crash from somewhere else in the cavernous chamber pierces the silence, jolting me. I duck beneath the couch, heart pounding fast. There comes a bang, sound of glass shattering, shouting. A cacophony reverberates painfully from the walls around me. I clutch my ears. Are there people fighting here? Please let me wake up already. This is not funny anymore. As abruptly as they came, the sounds die down. Is it over? Clamping eyes shut, I try to block out the buzzing, praying, let this be over soon. Let this be over soon. Let this... How did you get there? I nearly jump at the voice. The white-haired person is back, slumped next to the couch, head lolled, a hand off to their shoulder, breath shallow. What? I just saw you over there. I turn and see the same person still in the spot under the vortex and my mouth hangs open. But why are there two of you? I turn back to ask and see something drip from them. The glistening fluid shimmers and vanishes after it hits the floor. Are you melting? I back away a step. I heard shouting. Is there someone else here? They try to speak but wince instead, eyes closed, throat bobbing, spitting out something black and then resting their head back. They flash a sly grin and whisper, yes. But now it wishes to never set foot. It never set foot. Violent coughing interrupts them. More fluid drips down and evaporates. I wrinkle my nose. I don't see. What in the depth is going on here? What does it look like, they say. I glance around the room with a scowl, taking care to avoid the floating thing. Like the end of the world? Another wince. They lift a finger and point. What about that? Do you recognize it? I realize they mean the vortex, and avert my eyes. No. Devana, no. Absolutely not. Should I? I can't resist a shudder. They grimace. Sink me, not even that. Your handiwork. Excuse me? I scoff. You heard me. That thing's there because of you. The Abyss Devourer. A door to the last place you'd ever want to be, make no mistake. Their eyes widen with fear and their mouths curl in disgust. Curiosity rising, I push myself upright and study the scene again. Nope, I think I'd remember doing something like that. The unmoving figures catch my sight. You still didn't tell me why there are two of you, or who that other person is on the floor. They gesture at the prone figure. Bit slow on the uptake, aren't we? That's you. The one who caused all this. The great Magus, Farseer, savior of Darren Square, prodigy of the age, so on and so forth. They're looking directly at me now. Tell me you remember at least your name. Vin is good. The words tickle at the inside of my head. Magus Vin? They say weakly. Not to slight a dire situation, but it is somewhat amusing. It is somewhat amusing to see yourself like this, no? Amused? Try skeptical. Even if I believe you that I'm this Vin character, that doesn't explain who's lying on the floor there. The stranger shakes their head and chuckles, then tilts their head limply toward an ornate mirror meandering through the air nearby. Easier if you go see yourself. I roll my eyes, step to the mirror and pull off its velvet cover. Show me how I look. Is this me? If it's the mirror, then I guess it is. What I see leaves me stunned. The figure in the mirror is the splitting image of the person on the floor. I turn to look with wide eyes, and back at the mirror again, every last detail, down to the small pieces of metal embedded in my skin, which I'm only now noticing. It's all identical. Then, just for a breath, the Ilar on my arm seems to wriggle, but I blink and it's still again. I feel lightheaded. This is not right. But how? How am I in two places at once? I turn to the figure next to me. Are we dead? Is this the afterlife? And why do you know things that I don't? How is this fair, and just who are you? They laugh soundlessly. This is too rich. You don't remember my name either? You're... Fred. Another fit of coughing. Not even close. You must have hit your head quite severely. Worried, I run a hand over my scalp. There aren't any holes. I don't remember hitting it. That's just how it would be if I did hit it, isn't it? My voice trails off. How shall I say this? Eyes closed and lips parted, their voices barely a whisper now. The name's Ilar, your partner. Don't know what you did. Found you like this. I push out the words with effort. I lean closer to listen. A ritual must have gone astray to set loose the abyss devourer, stripping away your memories. I did what I could. You'd be gone otherwise. They're silent for a long stretch. I nudge them. Are you still with me? They open their eyes again and struggle to lift a hand and point toward the other side of the room, but it flops to the floor. Sink me. They're getting so quiet I have to put my ear next to their mouth to hear them. Warm breath tickles me. Blood rushes in my ears. Your desk. Look in your journal. Find the spell. Circular gate. Black powder. Mantra. Only way to save. No time. Go quick. They slump to the floor. Holding my breath, I wait. Heartbeat like a hammer in my skull. Thump, thump. The buzzing fills the would-be silence in between. Resonance of torment. I drive a thumb into my temple, crushing one pain with another. A futile effort. Hey, are you alive? I reach a hand to their shoulder. My hand passes through them. I pull away in shock and watch open-mouthed as Ilar's body melts into sticky, transparent strands. A few breaths later, they're no more than a shimmering puddle. Turning back, I land on my butt and scream. I throw my hands over my mouth and clamp tight, hoping that wasn't loud enough to draw attention, staring at the spot where Ilar had been. By the depth, I relax my hands and mutter once my heart has slowed down to a less painful pace. Realizing that a few glowing strands still cling to my fingers, I shake them off in a panic. My skin crawls. Divana, what do I do now? Find and cast a spell? Are they mad? I don't even know what a spell is. And what happened to them? Are they dead now? Devis, what do I do? Let's investigate my surroundings. That sounds like a good plan. I can't just move about, it's too risky. Maybe I can find some clues as to what happened here. Crouching and stepping lightly, I scrutinize my surroundings, unsure what to look for. My foot crushes on something soft, a piece of parchment, damp and crumpled. There's writing. Could I learn something about this place? I tease it open and read. What is this nonsense? I scratch my head and wonder if I'm wasting my time. More thoroughly. There must be dozens of pieces of paper like the first one scattered here. Maybe I can try those. Taking a few steps, I reach out to another piece. A deafening rumble shakes my body, and before I can turn to see, a stream of moist heat smashes into me, along with a shower of debris sending me flying. The air is knocked from my lungs. The room spins. I clutch blindly for support as I tumble through the air and begin to crash downward. My heart is pumping out of my throat as I wait for a terrible crunch of bone on stone, when my left arm shoots out on its own and catches the floor. And in one silky motion, my wrist, then elbow, then shoulder smoothly brace into the stony surface, setting my body into a roll instead of a splatter. With my arms around my head, I roll over and over, finally coming to a stop. I lie, a while panting, feeling my body, amazed that nothing smashed to bits except for a ringing head, bruised arms. What in the depth happened, and how did I do that? I raised my bruised head to see if I'd been flung several meters away from the abyss devourer. It quivers and sucks in the surrounding debris, falls silent for a breath, and then blows out another wave of energy. I scramble up and run as fast as my feet can carry me. Withering heat licks the back of my neck. Specks pelt me. I nearly slip, righting myself just in time to stay upright. The rumble reaches a peak. I shut my eyes, focusing only on the pounding of feet on stone. Then it was gone. The heat, the debris, the vibration. I stopped just in time to avoid ramming into an oversized desk. Panting, tasting blood in my mouth. When I looked, the abyss devourer had returned to its previous state of quiet menace. Elbows on the desk, I dropped my head and breathed out in relief. That could have ended differently. Vin. I hear a faint whisper, so quiet that it's barely distinguishable from the sound of the rain. Did I imagine it? There it is again. Is it coming from the desk? The massive drift oak desk, I realized as I glanced around, is the only one in this room. It could be my desk. I examine it now as if seeing it for the first time. What a disgrace. Save for a heavy book squarely set in the center, aligned with the edges, everything else, papers, scrolls, measuring tools, writing instruments, are all scattered around carelessly. I file a mental note to put it in order when all this is finished. Observing the book, I notice the precisely spaced stitch marks along the spine, evenly placed rivets meticulously inscribed Vin in the leather. My jittery breath steadies, my head clears somewhat. This must be the journal. If I can find the spell, I can save myself. I flip open the journal. Hello there. You're my journal then. Will you help me make sense of all this? The paper is smooth and firm under my fingers. A thick aroma enters my nose, so familiar. I close my eyes and inhale deeply. Memories tickle the back of my head. When I open my eyes again, the arcane symbols seem to regard me, even as I look at them, like seeing an old friend. Written words, soldiers of the intellect. Regiments arraying on a planar battlefield, written in a decisive hand. Mine. Geometric diagrams, sigils, maps of heart and spirit. Beyond words, ordered beauty. It must take days, perhaps weeks to draw each. But what is time to acts of chaos defiance? A row of strings hang from the bottom of the book, each with an ornamental coin tied to the end. Bookmarks, perhaps? By the depths, it's an encyclopedia. How will I ever find one spell in this? A scratching sound comes from somewhere to my left. I tense up for a moment. Is it some debris or... I wait. Another scratch, then another. Something sharp against wood. I swallow, heart pounding. Could it be whatever Ilar was dealing with? What do I do? The scratching keeps coming in twos and threes from the same distance, now I realize. If they want to harm me, I'd be harmed already. Now be brave and look. I carefully turn my head. There's an arched doorway nearby. Dense blackness lies in the hallway beyond it. I squint. An amber glint flashes. Another scratch. I crane my head forward. Is that it? A shape ever so slowly detaches itself from the darkness of the doorway. Its fur is so black that it looks like a moving shadow. Its features are sharp, merciless. It walks tiptoed, sinewy muscles rippling under the fur, poised to lunge. I stumble back, hand fumbling behind me, searching the desk for a weapon. My fingers grip around something, and I look to see a knife. A lidless eye on the base of the blade turns its gaze to me and whispers, "Thirsty, feed me." I yelp and toss the knife. It clacks and falls behind the desk. I turn to see the dark creature inching forward unsteadily, peering around the room, sniffing the air, pausing at every little sound. It's distracted. I might have a chance. I tense up and ready myself. The creature winces and clutches its head, and I bolt for the circle of debris. Caught by surprise, it claws at my arm, misses, tears a shred of fabric away. I hear a strained hiss, then rapid footsteps on my heels. I don't dare slow down. Something sharp snatches at my robe, tear it, but without enough catch to stop me. It's closing in. I can't outrun it. What can I do? I hear from right behind me. Stop. Did it just speak? Something large moves in the corner of my eye, and then I hear a crash. I turn to see my pursuer knocked to the ground by a bookshelf-turned projectile. Don't stop. Come to me. Ilar's voice booms. I turn and see them moving their arm in an arc, and several thick vases from the drifting flock launch toward the creature. A head-on smash. Myriad splinters fly out. I wince at the imagined pain. But when the pieces have settled, I spot the dark figure some distance back on all fours, mostly unharmed. How did... Ilar takes a few steps to my back, muttering something under their breath, then throws open their open hand toward the enemy. It leaps back, bounding several meters at once, landing near the doorway. I wait for Ilar to press the attack, but they simply set out from behind me and glare at our attacker. What are you waiting for? Finish it! But Ilar doesn't hear me at all. They just stand there. I look toward the dark figure who's staring at me with pain in its eyes. It opens its mouth to say something, but all that comes out is a sound somewhere between a gurgle and a hiss. It clutches at its head again with both hands, eyes bulging, straining. Ilar chuckles, and with a flick of a wrist launches a cabinet. The invader grimaces at me and vanishes into the dark doorway. The cabinet smashes into chunks, so loud it hurts to hear it. The room is quiet again, save for the rain and the pounding in my chest. What happened? I thought you died. You turned into... Still panicked, I fumbled the words. Ilar's triumphant stance falters as they hunch, clutching at their shoulder. Hold the tears, love. I was only nearly dead, but enough to draw out that creature. I cringed. Don't call me that. Draw her out? You were using me as bait? You wound me. I thought we were partners. And it worked, didn't it? Did you see the look on its face? I cross my arms and consider it for a breath and then sigh, I suppose. So who or what was that creature? That might have been a Lucasi, attracted to vulnerable humans, slippery as eels they are, but we outwitted this one. Skeptical, I cross my arms. Is that so? Quite. We won't have to worry about it for quite a while. Why didn't you finish it off when you had the chance? I peer around nervously, throat tight. And these Lucasi, are there more of them? Ilar swallows, seemingly uneasy all of a sudden, eyes clamped shut and swaying. Are you alright? Say something. I reach out a hand in case they topple over. Just the one, they mutter. Oh good, I think. Not sure what to do with my outstretched hand, I scratch my nose. Breaths return to normal. They straighten up with some effort, massaging their throat. Ilar finally shakes her head and says, this isn't delightful. Not that this isn't delightful, but we should probably get to work, huh? Come now, they say, leading toward the back of the room. My head is bursting with questions now the danger is past, but when we get near the darkened doorway, my pulse quickens and I hesitate. With just a few gestures of the hand and some words I don't recognize, Ilar slams the door shut and blockades it with some loose stones. Show off, I mutter, staring at Ilar. Then I notice them visibly hunch, and wonder how much it's costing them to do these things. A thin silvery thread drifts close to my face. I wave it away, thinking it's spider silk. It sticks to my hand, and I realize that there are dozens of these threads growing out of Ilar's shoulder. Now that I'm paying attention, their form also seems to flicker, insubstantial. Their hand is so feverish it's uncomfortable on my skin. My own hands are flickering the same way. I draw a sharp breath. What's happening? Noticing my growing unease, they face me, waving a hand nonchalantly. Don't worry, it's normal for heart vessels under these conditions. Or did you forget that too? You said I was worried. I'm just curious. What is this heart vessel? And stop reminding me that I forgot things. They shrug. Of course you are. Their body's made from waters. Energy condensed. Somewhat elementary, really, as far as magic goes. Confused, I glance toward the statue-like figures, but Ilar seems to have read my thoughts. That's a profane vessel. You're anchored to this realm. You know, your flesh. Also quite elementary, right? I answer flatly. So that's why there are two of me. One is physical and the other is sublime, Ilar finishes. You're catching on, they smirk, putting a thumb under my chin, eyes aglitter with admiration. Exquisite. They tilt their head from the side, examining me. Caught off guard, my cheeks warm up. I scowl. It took some skill crafting this body from my waters, if I may be so immodest. A shame it falls apart in the currents. Good thing I could remake it so as fast. They click their tongue. I wish you knew what a feat it was, but alas. A real shame I can't grasp the extent of your greatness, your modesty. Swat their hand away. A puff of fine strands detach from them, drifting perilously close to my face. I flinch. They put their hands behind them, turning serious. So you understand why I would appreciate it if you didn't stray too far from your physical body. So as to not have your masterpiece fall apart? I gulp, humour fading. They nod and start walking again, leading me on. Precisely. It'd be a waste of my waters, not to mention very unpleasant for you. Queasiness comes over me and I feel itchy all over. I brush away the strands, rubbing my arms, pressing the illusory flesh, but the itch won't go away. I don't know if this will help, but you don't remember what sunkens are, do you? They say after a few steps, without turning around. Huh? Bottom dwellers of the seas? Heartless, hollow, hunkering things that just go on trying to feed for an eon, but can never satisfy their cravings? Their voice drips with disdain. No, are they lurking here too? I step closer to Ilar. They shake their head. Not yet, but if you stray from your body or from me for too long, then... They look down, pensive. Memory, reason, even the essence of who you are may be lost, so... Promise me you'll come right back if you experience anything strange. They pause, then add, don't make me worry. Eyes heavy and head numb, I rub my temples, muttering, stranger than all of this? Ilar gives me a flat stare. Oh, you'll know when it happens. Will I ask myself. How will I know what I've already forgotten? I look at Ilar, wondering just how much they know. Is that what happened to my memories? Am I already becoming hollow? Please tell me it's temporary. They look aside for a moment. They say, might be best not to overthink this. Overthink it? What if I never remember who I was? What's the point of living then? The pitch of my voice rises. But they're calm as ever. Memories are like vapor. They come and go. You can make new ones if you survive. The dead have no such luxury. Are you saying that it's possible to recover them? I need an answer. Their grip on my wrist tightens. Listen to me. If you don't find the spell, you die. Not even a magus comes back from that. But if you find it, there's still a chance. Do you understand? Head numb, I nod. Then it dawns on me. If it's dangerous to be far away, then why can we not just take the book and bring it with our real bodies? It is right there. I motion at the journal wildly. It'll make the whole thing so much easier. A shrug. That's the obvious thing to do, yes. Unfortunately, one of your precautions prevents it from leaving your desk. You see, things you worked on are of somewhat delicate nature and you make sure that nobody takes off with it. They clear their throat. Only you know how to undo those safeguards, and since your recollection is limited at the moment, I'm afraid we must work with what we've got. I stare blankly at the floor. Of course. Why would I make things easy for myself? Another thing, the Lucasi is still around. No doubt, biding its time. Don't let it approach. Its lies, its charms. It'll try to trick you. If you see anyone else here, anyone at all, run back to me at once. I clutch my head and sigh. What does it want anyway? To eat me? Ilar licks their lips. Yes, and can you blame it? They look me up and down. I stare at them. You serious? I don't want to get into the details at the moment. Suffice to say, be watchful at all times. And for depth's sake, don't agree to any propositions. Lucasi are powerful to begin with, and nigh impossible to get rid of if you make a deal with them. I rub the bridge of my nose. Let me get this straight. I have to remember all these things to avoid being eaten, but I can lose memories at any time. There has to be another way. I grab Ilar's arm. What if you stay with me the entire time? What if you never let me out of your sight? Ilar shakes their head. As much as I'd like to, I must rest. That means no heart vessel for me, and very limited awareness of this place. Oh, Laura, this is not happening. I pace in a panic, heart racing. Insight flashes. Do you have a spell or something to help me remember? Something hard to forget? It's not a bad idea. Ilar massages the back of their neck and gingerly looks around the room. Let me see. They take a few quick steps away, pluck something from the air and return to me. Gripping my hand and looking it all over, they fixate on a spot on my wrist and jab something into it. Ow, what? Wincing, I instinctively jerk away. But Ilar's grip tightens, holding me still. Look at me and repeat this. Let the image and words burn into your heart. Sensual pleasures wane, but pain I make my anchor. Long as this pain endures, I too shall remain. I grunt, struggling. Say it. The intense look in Ilar's eyes leave no room for arguments. I try to steady my racing pulse, but they drive the sharp object deeper into me. It burns. I struggle more. They pull me closer and hiss into my ear. Say it. Gasping for breath, I push the words through gritted teeth. Abruptly, Ilar lets go, satisfied. I stumble back, pulling my arm free. A shard of metal drops to the floor with a clink, leaving drops of red. Still catching my breath, I shout at Ilar, "How dare you?" "What, you asked for... You could have warned me." Ilar shrugs. "I thought it'd be no trouble for a magus of your caliber." I fume silently. Still grinning, they move on. "I leave you to the journal then. Remember, it's a ritual with a circular gate, some black powder, and a mantra. Can you manage that much?" "I guess," I say, not at all certain. They smile and reach a hand toward me. I look away. "Don't touch me." No fun. They pull their hand back, smile only wavering a little. "Once you find the spell, bring me the instructions. I'll tell you how to proceed. And the Abyss Devourer will soon cease to be a problem. Simple." I can make out even more of the objects behind them now. Their form is thinning out by the breath. "Hurry." With a mischievous grin, Ilar gives my wrist a squeeze. The pain of the cut flares up again. "You won't forget this, right?" I grip my teeth and stay calm. "No, not likely," I reply with a steady voice, as steady a voice as I can manage, refusing to meet their eyes. Their grip tightens for just a moment. I inhale sharply. "Excellent. It might just save you. You'll see." As they finish speaking, they let go of me and begin to disintegrate. I take several steps back, staring as they disappear. Their smile is the last to go. Wonder if even that can be done on purpose. Finally alone. There's a lot to take in. I give in to the weight of exhaustion and slump to the floor. I'm so tired. How can I possibly get out of this? What did I do to deserve this? Why is this happening to me? Pathetic. Why me? You're pathetic. Don't you get it? No one's coming. Only you can help yourself. You'll have to do it. Trust yourself. Yourself. I clamp both ears shut and shake my head over and over. Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Echoes dance in the great chamber. The voice in my head recedes, but not without leaving a last retort. Coward. I'll show you who's the coward, I mutter, pulling myself to standing by the desk leg. I will show you, I tell myself. Remember, don't forget. Don't let anyone approach. Find the spell. I repeat the words in my head over and over, trying to make them stick. Pages of the book flutter through the air though the air is still. Weird. I'm procrastinating, aren't I? Yes, you are. Fine, I'll get to work. I regard the book, pondering what to do. Hello, Juno, it's me, your master. Hello, Juno, it's Vin, your master. I'm going to need a miracle. Please tell me you have one. Closing my eyes and desperately hoping, I pinch one of the bookmarks at random and open the page. It marks. It reads, Date 269548. Mark. Cleansing. Expulsera ritual records. Held by visiting shamans of the Orients, a potent brew of mapacho leaf was drank by a circle of third-degree magi, myself included, resulting in distressing nausea and pain of the chest. It reached a point where I wished to be dead rather than to endure another moment of that pain. Then suddenly I found myself transported out of the profane realm and into a pentagonal chamber within the seas. A group of Divana seemed to have been expecting me there. They instructed me to take a knife with a single eye on its handle and carve out a portion of my heart that was tainted black. I did as I was told, and then was ejected back to the profane plane, vomiting profusely until a piece of still pulsing flesh came out. The knife had also been magically manifested in my hand. I felt a most pleasant sensation of joy and relief in the chest, followed by a surge of waters. I was told to discard this piece of flesh, but chose to keep it for further study. How is it still pulsing? How long will it persist? What can be done with it? I must experiment. VFA. Interesting, but I don't have a clue what it's about. There's no mention of a gate, black powder, or mantra. I thumb the side of the volume. It's at least 1,000 pages. I sigh. I bite my lip and push on, I guess. Should I push on and hope for a miracle? Instead, I'll be consumed by the abyss, I suppose. I also don't want to tell Ilar that I gave up before I started. Imagine the tongue lashing I get, with that grin no less. The stinging on my wrist swells just then, irritating me. I bite my lip and focus on the words. Mouth dry, the reddish-black ink glistens, menacing. Will I die here if I fail? The rustling of paper is like sand grating my eardrums. Why does it have to be me? The tepid leather cover sweats against my skin. A distant rumble rolling, an inner rumble pounding. Not even my fault. I never chose this. Crash. Darkness beyond the window pane. Schlap. A blinding flash. I shut my eyes from the piercing glare of arc clamps in the office of discipline. Rain pelting the window. A ruler mercilessly strikes into my palm. Slap. Slap. Strikes 13 the clock. Eyes stinging, I stand. I mustn't shed tears, I mustn't look weak. I won't give her the satisfaction. A tobacco-laden voice, gruff, square as the corners of this office. That's enough of that, Vin Fen Aaron. You do not give excuses, you do not shirk responsibility. Think not only of only your image, but the image of all Magi. Do you understand? A stiff nod, fire in my chest burning, stifling. I can't hear you, do you understand? Flecks of white fly from her sharp lips. Yes, Miss Lansbourne. The plump belly loosens a notch, too close. I will myself not to tumble backwards. Now go draft the letter of confession. You lunch after, not before. Yes, Miss Lansbourne. Pressing together trembling lips, I touch the lips of my right hand, fingers to my chest, and then my forehead. Turn around and march off. Eyes locked onto the square patterned tiles of the floor. It's not fair, I remember thinking, trying not to cry. I hadn't done anything wrong. 11 rows, wall to wall, 12 columns, window to door, 86 intersects. They said it was improper to dine with a lowborn, but she was kind to me. Step between the lines. They said it was scandalous to touch an untouchable, but I liked the softness of her skin. Don't cry. They made me turn her away, they made me. The only nice thing I had. Don't cry. Crash. Bright flash upon the journal pages, rain pelting the window, I strike my palm. A ghost pain's haunt, a memory. Lightning crashes again, but this time my heart does not jump to it. A solidity settles within me. I've endured pain since I was a child. Did I let it get to me? No. I'm here now, surviving. It could make me stronger if I choose it. For the space of just a few breaths, defiance fills me, and I'm nearly vibrating with excitement. Breasts swelling with confidence. I got this far. Let's see how far I can go. Don't let your guard down. Find out more. I nod to myself. I look to the desk with the germ of a smile. Thick coral iron locks are set into each lower drawer. A furtive tug, then a firm pull. Both nest me nothing but a dull click. Me and my precautions. Undeterred, I try every drawer. More of the same. Click. Nothing. You're not beating me this easily. I keep going. Thinking, if I'm lucky, one might just be open. With a hiss, the bottom left drawer slides out. My eyes are set aglow, but a heap of crumpled and damp papers of every colour. A tomb full of flowers. Head tilting, I scrutinize the collection with parted lips. And just who are you? With a barely audible crinkle, a violet-coloured paper spreads partially open, revealing rows of text. Letters, could it be? Head abuzz with curiosity, I pick it up, unravel it fully and read. Oh shit, I missed it. Oh wait, we can go back, I think. History, here we go. Oh, that's the one bit that doesn't come up in the history. Great. Different handwriting. Intriguing. I wonder what else I can find out. I'm telling you this for the 100th time already, I know. But you're amazing. I mentioned how cute they were, but I never imagined you'd actually bring one home. They must have cost a fortune. When did you have time to procure them? Our new friend is perfect. What a mixture of aloofness and grumpiness. A mirror image of you, practically. I'm thinking about naming them for their 100th birthday. I expect them to become a proper familiar right after, so we'll need something respectable. Mr. Fuzzpants, perhaps? Very respectable. I? Ilar and Fuzzpants? I shake my head, puzzled. A deep rumble shakes my body. I look towards the Abyss Devourer. Its form is lost in the dense debris circling it. The rumbling settles into a grating hum. It's hard to even think with the noise, but if it gets no worse, I might still get through a few more of these letters and perhaps piece together my past. And if it does get worse? Sink it. I'll take the risk. Sink indeed. Aren't you forgetting something? Go away. Can a voice in your head smirk? I think mine just did. Reaching for another letter, I'm tense all over. A feeling gnaws at the inside of my head. I suddenly feel like a horse had kicked me in the gut, knocking the wind right out of me. Doubling over, knees buckled, I wheeze. You forgot, didn't you? A pain pulses in my wrist. No, it's happening again. I have to go back. But the letters, no, I'll not go empty-handed. Straining, I snatch a few more letters and turn to leave, but a squirming in my palm alerts me. I look and see empty hands. What? I swear I... Look down. Papers are dropping to the floor in slow motion. Looking at my hands, I see sticky glowing strings hanging from my wrists where hands used to be. The odor of rotten eggs fills my nostrils. Biting heat creeps up my arms. Ilar looked like this before they disappeared. No, I plead, trying to gather up the streaks with my stumps, but more and more of me are turning soft and melting like cheese in an oven. As I stare, my skin becomes increasingly translucent. I can see fluids pump through veins with each heartbeat. Horror, fascination. I'm frozen, unable to pull my eyes away. Parts of my skin bulge and tear open, spilling ooze that drifts away into the unseen currents. The eel on my arm shudders, wriggles from the confines of my skin and swims away. My mouth hangs open, but a maddening itch creeps across my body and I let out a giggle. It itches everywhere, so itchy I can't stop giggling and shaking. My vision swims, lines and shapes meld. A sting on my wrist, Ilar's pain that sets my heart racing. Wrist, I can still feel it. I can still move. There comes a distant voice. I try to turn toward it. Streaks of colour spin around me. No room, no depth, no dimension. Even when I shut my eyes, the afterimage flashes behind closed lids. I was a ghost wandering through an ethereal painscape. I imagine hearing Ilar's voice. Closer? Did I shout a reply, asking them to guide me? The itch between my ears is so loud. Did they hear me? Are they helping? Are they replying? Is that the eel swimming alongside me? I follow what I think is Ilar's voice. My feet are so numb that only rhythmic thuds tell me that I'm stepping forward. My eyelids are heavy as boulders crushing together. I count my steps, one after another. No time, no distance, just the stepping. I don't know how long I'll go on like this. Something firm and warm touches my shoulders. I don't know how much time passes until I struggle my eyes open. Blobs of shimmering colours swirl and congeal into an impressionist gesture of a room. Hot, bright needles withdraw from my skull. Ecstatic coolness. I sigh, wincing at the agonizing relief, then finally drop the clutched tensions and slump to the floor. Tears fall, but I don't care. Ilar's grip eases me down. Welcome back, they say, as if I'd gone for a holiday. I can only wheeze. I swallow. This is a nightmare. Don't make me go back there. I press my cheek to the smooth stone floor. Cold. Cold as balance. Balance is good. You said it would be easy. I almost... Death couldn't be worse than this. A palm touches my head. I twitch. It goes away. It comes back. Spore motion. Stroking. You lingered, didn't you? A shaking starts somewhere inside me. Grows into a heaving, and then a soundless laughter. It all seems so ridiculous. Me? Looking for a recipe to close a portal? Helping the stranger who drags me about? Hurting me? Telling me it'll be easy and I can't linger? Straightforward? Ha! Don't overthink it, they say. My belly is sore from the convulsion, but it won't stop. My world is a blur. Maybe it's better like that. Sink it all to the bottom. Ilar's awkward padding resumes. You don't have to tell me, I know what it feels like. Another wave of vertigo smears across my head. And you'll get used to it like I did. Think of it as a lesson, if it helps. It doesn't. At least the room's spinning is slowing. Ilar sighs. Dreadful, isn't it? I could almost hear their smile. To find yourself in such a strange place, not remembering, not knowing, peril around every corner. I hear death is not unlike that. You go to the seas, but not as yourself. You go as a new thing, emptied of the past like it never was. They look down with a stiff grin. Maybe it's not much worse than this. I should say something? The loneliness in their world brings a chill to me. In their words, Ilar had been the one with the reins until now, guiding, encouraging, sometimes goading me forward. What would I do if they really gave up? The thought knocks the fire into my chest out cold. I should do something. I should say something. Ilar, They chuckle, running a hand through their hair. How embarrassing. I should be the one cheering you up. Instead, I'm adding fuel to the fire. Or is it pouring water on your fire? Something poetic about fire and water. You get the gist. They chuckle. I let out a sigh of relief. I might even smile if things weren't so horrible, but I managed to grumble, very poetic. I would applaud, but my arms feel like noodles. Ilar laughs and helps me to my feet. I've never seen them laugh, and they look like someone else with the same face. Catching me looking, they clear their throat and look away. So what did you find in the journal? As I open my mouth to answer, my bleary eyes bring into focus the abyss devourer a few meters away, sneering with menace. I flinch, taking a step aside to put Ilar between it and me. Ilar's eyes flit sideways then back to me. They sigh and smile sadly. I've gotten used to innumerable things in my time, but this one's not so easy. You don't say. Ilar rubs the back of their neck, then peers up with mischief in their eyes. What if we gave it a nickname? It's hard to be grave about a thing if it has a silly name. What do you propose? Mashed potato. Sure, whatever. Haha, I love it. Ilar gives me a stern nod, spins on their heel and points at the abyss devourer dramatically, declaring, Then I hereby dub thee mashed potato. They tilt their head back to me. See? Still scared of it? A little less now. So you ready to go find a way to slay mashed potato? Ready as I'll ever be. So, where do we stand on finding that spell in the journal? Ah yes, there was something interesting. There was this bizarre entry in the journal. I wasn't sure what I was reading, but I couldn't stop. I had to know. It was about a ritual called Expulsera. Raising an eyebrow, Ilar asks, I'm impressed. It was a record of sorts. That's right, I think I took part in the ritual. Ilar smirks. You weren't always as straight-laced as you'd like to think. So it is true. That explains it somewhat. I sensed a tension in my head. A puzzle coalesces, but it raises another question. It always does with you. Go ahead. I wrote down things like excruciating pain, being taken out of this realm, meeting some divana and then vomiting out something that was pulsing. The hairs on my neck stand up as I say it. Stroking their chin, Ilar says, That's not a question. I mean, I must have seen some extraordinary things. Beautiful things, scary things, disgusting things. Things I can't even guess at now. Are those memories all just lost now? If you're saddened by that, there's no need, my dear Vin. Why not? It happens to every human being one day. All that they've known and cherished, loved and feared, craved and loathed, all will be lost, no exceptions. You simply arrived there before you died. A quirk in the flow, that is all. That is all? Does that not make you afraid? I don't see why it should. Because it could mean that everything you've ever done doesn't really matter. They don't. Not to the great depth. Just so much debris to feed the Lucasi. How can you say that? Are you even human? Taken aback, Ilar fixes me with a narrow gaze. I swallow, wondering if those were the best choice of words. But they recover with a shake of the head. The old Vin and I might have engaged exchanges on such profound topic, but you at present... What about me at present? My cheeks swell and I cross my arms, waiting for them to finish, so I can give them a sound tongue lashing. They shrug, as if I'd asked them about the weather. You're not you anymore. Sadness hits me hard, like a bucket of ice water dumped on the stove. I turn aside to rub my eyes, and don't notice Ilar walk to me until a hand is laid lightly on my shoulder. There are good reasons I don't indulge in all your questions. Their tone is not patronizing for once. Not wanting to meet their eyes, I stare ahead and ask, what might those be? Ilar is silent again, considering their answer may be. The fire may be out, but cinders still smoulder in my heart, and I can't resist a late retort. And what if the way out of this mess is buried in my lost memories? Did you think of that? Perhaps, but to go down that route would be to stake our salvation on reverting to your old self. They take their hand away. What is with you in comparing me to the old me? Am I truly that much worse now? Is that what you're driving at? No. A hand raised to the forehead, in frustration. Ilar speaks at a tone so low I struggle to hear it. You keep looking behind you, wondering what was lost. But you miss what lies ahead, and by doing so you doom us both. Their voice drips with dismay. I can only swallow. But then they chuckle. If you want to regain something, then let it be the old Vin's prudence. Do what is necessary. Find the spell. Free us both. Can you do that? I let out a long sigh. Alright, I can do that. Sorry if I got distracted, I add. Ilar clears their throat. You didn't encounter any mentions of the ritual we needed. No, I had no time. I stroke the spot on my wrist. There are probably a few dozen spells in that book, Ilar begins to pace back and forth, brows locked together, muttering. Those are not uncommon ritualistic components. No, they won't get through that way. We need more time. We can't afford to make mistakes, Vin. You'll have to do better than this. Did you find nothing else? I don't know whether to be embarrassed, frustrated, or indignant. I tried to read more, but my body started falling apart. I almost didn't make it, remember? I feel the cut on my wrist, remembering. Wait, there was something else. I found a letter? It was a letter. It was signed by an I. Was it from you? What was it about? It sounded like you were rather forcefully inviting me to lunch. Probably to save you from starvation. I rolled my eyes. Really? Was I that inept? Not inept. Dangerously absorbed. It wasn't a big deal. Why are you asking? No reason. Well, maybe. I don't know. I was just happy to have found something about my past. Not like you're gushing with information in that regard. Why wasn't I? Let's see. Oh, mashed potato. Imminent annihilation. I just want to feel a little more me. Look, I know things are dire. I just want to feel a little more me. I've been like a stranger in my own skin, you know? They close their eyes for a moment and simply nod. I sense a chance to press on a smidgen. Did you send me letters often? I think there were more in the drawer where I found this one. We were close. How close? I thought you read some letters already. I shake my head, only a few, but then I turn into noodles, remember? Gaze lowered for a moment, they say, some things are hard to put into words. What are they hiding, I wonder? What if I say a few words and you nod if it applies? At the risk of grossly simplifying things? Yes, if only as a start. If you get back to the search afterwards. Deal. I have your word? Fine, I say, pondering my choices before asking. Friends? Nod. Colleagues? Nod. Good friends? Nod. Best friends? Nod. Something else? Nod. Alright. Are you nodding to everything I say? Only if it applies. You're cheating. I beg to differ. I nod if what you say applies to us. But it's not helping me. Grossly simplifying complicated things often don't. Now, will you stop wasting our time and return to the task at hand? Conspiring against me, mashed potato growls. Begrudgingly, I swallow a few choice words. Fine, I grumble, but this is not over. They sigh. It will be if you insist on scavenger hunts. Our salvation is at stake, and I'm wasting waters here talking to you. Alright, I'll go back. Good. This is not over, I mutter under my breath. Once again, I find myself before the journal, apprehensive, scratching my chin. What did Miss Lansworn say? The heart is but a tool. A magus commands all their tools with authority and then trusts them to do the job. Alright, journal. I'll begin turning pages. Give me a sign when I come to the page I need. That's an order. I lift the cover, and it almost turns over by itself. Pages rustle softly as my fingers brush against them. It's strangely soothing. What if I don't find it? What if I don't understand it when I do find it? Shut up. But what if... 1, 2, 3, 4... What if 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... 57, 58... The rustling stops. I look down. A 2-page spread comes into focus. A stain lurks in the groove between the pages. The left side of the spread lists a few components for the ritual. A black salt sigil with a diameter of 5/3 measures. The length of your body, a voice whispers. Freshly spilled waters to fuel the reaction. Your blood, it whispers again. An ineligible word follows. I squint. A drop? A dash? A pint? Surely not, that would be suicidal. I'll make a mental note to ask Ilar and move on to the last item. A mantra for unifying the forces, to be chanted 32 times. What an odd number. A drawing darkens to the right side spread. I turn to examine it, but my eyes can find no focus. The lines fray into overlapping spider silk. Strange. I lean in closer for a better look. My bowels turn cold, my eyes are enticed. Closer and closer, childlike figures, some missing heads, others missing limbs, each incomplete, maimed, interlocking in anatomically impossible ways, forming a ring. One has an arm grown from a neck, another's legs branch apart spider-like. What are you, I whisper, almost touching the page now. Fascinated, I lean in closer. The black mass at the center looms, its lines undulate like ripples on the sea on a moonless night. There's some movement under the surface. What are you? I shiver in excitement, eyes itching, unable to blink. A round protrusion at the center of the inky blackness wiggles. There's a crescent slit running from left to right. It opens. Teeth. I put an ear to it. A faint warmth streams out of it with a hiss. There's a rhythm, a cadence to it. Are they words? My heart pounds. I struggle to make out syllables. Not savvy. Sorry. Sorry for what? I don't understand. I can never say it before I half whispered it inside. It hardly matters now. Whether I say the words or not eats you. You linger. You are the silence. A lump forms in my throat. The walls close in. A weight presses on my chest. Numb. I can't breathe. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you to hear me. Why? Why are you saying these things? I try to pull away. My body is heavy. Joints creak. Dismember howl we lie. Destiny, fate, glory, immortality, all lies. No. No, 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 now. Please, free me, please. Heavier and heavier, squeezing the breath from me. I need to get away. There's a dull, distant pain. Ilar's pain. I'm not heartless, you know. No, no more. I'll hear no more. The pain. I turn my heart to it. A spark of heat in the cold. My hand comes into focus. Who gave you the right to impossibility? I drive the wrist into the wood. The sparks and flames. The heat spreads. The sense of body returns. Fighting with every drip of strength, I slam the book shut with a resounding thud. The whispering abruptly abates. I double over, gasping for air. Pat, 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 as the sweat deserts my chin. What in the great abyss? I drop onto the floor, unceremoniously, head resting against the drawers. That voice. There is something about it, but I'm not sure what. Was that part of a spell? A message left by someone? I touch the chilling numbness lingering in my chest, waiting for my heart to steady. This place is getting to me again. Every step I take forward, something jumps out and bites me. I squeeze my wrist, shaking my head. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. You should go to Ilar. They might know about what I just found. I'd look at my hands, a little see-through and not a moment too soon. I make my way back, keeping a wary eye on passing debris, letting out a sigh of relief as an expectant Ilar finally comes into view. How was it? They come toward me. Horrible as usual, I swallowed, but I think I found what you're looking for. A ritual that involves a circular sigil made of black salt, I think it said. It has to be large, 5/3 meters or something. Ilar's eyes light up. A ghost of a smirk rises then falls from their lips, their voice low. Go on. It also asks for blood and a mantra. I only saw a little. The sigil, the mouth, whispering, cold. I shiver. Ilar steps forward, excitement evident in their voice. What about the sigil? Can you reproduce it? Did you procure the black salt? The sigil, it said things to me. What was it? I try to recall, but each attempt to think brings a wave of pressure and cold in my head. I grasp Ilar's elbow, eyelids squeezed tight, swaying, choking. They grab me by the arms, demanding, well, what's the mantra? How many words? What language? Did you memorize it? I don't like it, it feels wrong. What about the blood? What kind? How much? It feels wrong, I hear my voice reverberate. Hands balling into fists, I meet Ilar's stunned gaze. Back out of their grip. The ritual. What if you're wrong about it? Echoes of melancholy and venom resound in my ears. My hands move to stroke the cold numbness in my chest. The things it said to me, I don't understand it exactly, but it could not be right. It just couldn't. Ilar's jaws clenched tight, vibrating with tension. Explain. From the beginning. Alright, the list of ingredients seemed to fit, but the sigil, it spoke to me. It said, if the ingredients are right, then that's the ritual. Who cares? Do you know what it's like for me out there? You're not listening to me? Let them finish? Let them finish. Who cares what that cursed book says? It's enchanted. For all we know, it just wants to chat. And while you dawdle, I'm here staring into the face of the abyss. Have you any idea the dread that entails? The anguish on Ilar's face dampens the fight in me. I can feel it pulling at me, nibbling me away, and there's nothing I can do except put my hope in you and endure it. Accusation, anger, and sorrow are written clearly on Ilar's face. I'm ashamed I never saw it before. I never did consider what Ilar was going through. It was always about me, so selfish, childish. I'm sorry. What? I reach out a hand toward Ilar. I'm sorry. I never asked about how you were doing. Their face twitches in bewilderment. They look away. Doesn't matter now. It does to me. I take a chance and touch a fingertip to their arm. A muscle works in their neck. I've been so difficult, haven't I? It could not have been easy for you to be so close to that thing and to... I hesitate, remembering. And to have to put up with me. I wrap my hand around their arm. Ilar tenses, muscle trembling. Look at me. My voice is gentle, firm. Their expression is stolid, unreadable. A mix of something hard, something tender, and something else. I'll try to make your life easier from now on. I squeeze their arm. Ilar closes their eyes. I'm almost holding my breath. Please. I plead silently. Finally, Ilar nods, tension in them melting away. I heave a sigh of relief. Ilar's eyes still avoid me. They sway ever so gently, looking so weary. I give them a tug, and walk with them to the couch where I drop into it and they sit down next to me. Feeling better? Ilar shrugs, but I see a glint dancing in their eyes and a fleeting smile on the corner of their lips. Oh, don't play coy now. How many times do you want me to say sorry? Wouldn't have minded one more, and with that their familiar lopsided grin returns. And how long have you been milking me? Who do you take me for, a common scoundrel? Only because you fit the part so well at times. You wound me. Their arms go up in mock indignation. I nudge them playfully in the ribs. They feign injury, covered their wound with both hands. I make to get them again, but the mirth seems to evaporate from Ilar's face, and they drop their hands awkwardly to their lap. My hands hang in the air. I brush something from my hair. A few books meander past us, paper rustling. I'd almost forgotten about that buzzing. It fills the silence, bringing back the uneasiness. You really should rest. You look terrible. I beg your pardon. Well, I mean your posture. I just thought you look tired. Ilar chuckles, dropping their gaze. Darts a glance at me. Have you been paying special attention to me? Heat swells on my cheeks. Well, yeah, I mean, no, kind of. Then I see their smart grin and fold my arms, setting my jaw. I was just making sure you don't kick the bucket, alright? I still need your help. Sure, they wink. We sit in silence for a few breaths, my cheeks cooling too slowly. Your waters, how much is left? Difficult to say. Not much. Could you somehow borrow from me? They turn to me slowly and regard me for a long while. You're acting strange. They gulp internally. I am? No doubt. In what way? Well, different from before. Their brows are locked in concentration. You're no longer grasping for knowledge at every opportunity. And that's a good thing? Let's just say that there were times when you were so bent on your quest that everyone else were mere instruments to you. They look away, fidgeting with their necklace. And now you're concerned for me? Gulp again. You make me sound so selfish. Ilar doesn't seem to hear me at all. They get up, muttering and pacing back and forth, looking straight ahead, bewildered. Maybe it is possible, maybe I was wrong. They trail off, rubbing their neck. I wave a hand in their direction. What is possible? What? Oh, yes, right. They seem to notice where they are. It's not important, just musing to myself. They exhale, shaking their heads slightly. I should go, and you should too. Take care out there, Sure, I reply, not at all sure. Ilar nods with a tight smile and then dissolves. What was that? I touch my wrist absent-mindedly. I've changed? I was uncaring before. Did I do something hurtful? Is that why they get so awkward when I bring up the past? Ow! I realize that, lost in thought, I've scratched open the cut. I shake myself out of it. You don't have time for this. The past is the past. Giving myself a nod, I head for the desk, hoping it'll be for the last time. Here we go. Again. I find myself back in front of the desk, working up the nerves to open the journal. Whatever danger lies within, I must know about the rest of this ritual if I want to live, but perhaps not a frontal attack like before. Peeling open only a gap between pages, spying the number on the corner, I then open directly to the page after where I left off. The fool rushes into battle, the wise divide and conquer. No drawing here. I loosen a painfully tight grip. Only a page of mantra verses. Even so, I ready my right hand to close the book in case. My left hand glides over the words. At first I don't understand them at all, but I stay relaxed as I keep calm. As I can and keep my eyes on them, waiting. A rhythm gradually takes shape in my breathing. First just a faint rasping, then a low mutter. Is my mouth moving to the letters on its own? Dreadful familiarity. Meaning scratches at my scalp. But when I turn my attention to them, they disperse like skittering shadows at the edge of a torchlight. So I relax again and just breathe, and they come back. I don't chase them and simply read. As I read one line after another, a chill spreads into my fingers. A feeling like icy water drips onto the back of my neck. The room begins a slow dervish about me. A voice. It's definitely a voice. They're singing something. Over and over. Vin, Vin, Vin. They know my name. How do they know my name? So cold, my breathing stutters. Vin, Vin, Vin. The tune takes a downturn. Tiny needles of cold jab me all over. I hate you, hate you, hate you, hate you. Why? What did I ever do? The page flutters in my shaky hands. Had to have the last say, didn't you? To leave me aghast, without room to retort, without time to respond. What are you talking about? The singing drops to a haunting whistle. I hold my breath to listen, words on the edge of recognition. But you would whistle those tones. They would make you smile. I let you have those. Quieter and quieter, I press my ear to the page. Chill radiates from it. It cannot be. How could it be? How was I to know? Where would I start? I'd have had to say it countless times. Say what? A shrill tone like a kettle boiling in the distance. It peaks, glides down, and then shatters into a scream that splits the night in two. The sorrow of it. My heart breaks. Hairs stand. Tears stream. I'm sorry. There I said it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 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 I can't stop the tears. Please stop. Please save me from... Push on. Please stop. Please. Someone is screaming, pleading. Is that my voice? What's wrong with you? Why can't you get yourself together for once? I will not give up at the first sign of difficulty this time. I find the spot where I stopped with a shaking hand and try to read again. Something under my finger pulls my attention away from the voice. Then it happens again, more insistent. I pause, wondering what it could be. Then silence within me. The voice is lulled. When I turn the page over, a laugh escapes me. I stifle it with a hand. A folded paper bird is tucked within the groove. Keep it. I pinch the tip of its wing, inspecting its arm's length, half expecting it to spring to life or start speaking. It merely looks at me. Nothing to say? That's new. There's something alluring about you, but who knows what you're hiding. I slide it into a pocket. Maybe Ilar will know about you. But that page, I must find a way in somehow, and soon. Remembering the chill, I shudder. Not right now. I can't hear those things again so soon. Maybe go back and rest, then try once more. I wonder what Ilar will say. They'll understand, right? They'll understand. I turn and walk toward the debris. I reach the couch soon enough, but Ilar is nowhere in sight. I cough and say, "Hello? Ilar?" Still hearing nothing but the buzzing, I drop into the couch, wondering if I'm back sooner than they expected. The softness of the couch makes my exhaustion catch up to me. Perhaps I'll lean back and rest a few blinks. "You're back early," said a voice right next to me, making my heart lurch. For Lura's sake, don't do that. They blink at me. Do what? Speak. Appearing out of thin air and disappearing for that matter. It would be altogether better if you could just give me warning next time you're about to pull one of these tricks. Ilar shrugs and grins. Do they listen? I draw in a deep breath and almost give them an earful about respect and personal space, but something about their grin stops me. I left the air out. My chest, the lingering chill inside is fading from just having another soul to talk to. I found something else out there. An eyebrow raises. You did? A bird, made out of paper, or folded into paper. No, a paper bird. A bird folded from... Oh, sink it, let me show you. I remove the bird from its nesting place and hold it to Ilar, hoping they'd recognize it, hoping it's a piece of my past. A few blinks, Ilar stares at it. I hope for both our sakes that this is the spell we need. They don't hide their annoyance, and make no move to take the bird. Well, no, I managed to whisper. Their expression darkens. But listen, I was reading the mantra and it spoke to me. Knew my name. It was dreadful. I thought I might lose it, but this bird saved me. Something feels special about it. In other words, you were distracted. What? No, I don't think you understand how hard it was. I don't think you understand how much effort it takes me to maintain your vessel. I'm giving you what precious little is left of me, and you insist on squandering it? They get louder with each sentence. I flinch. As I'm about to retort, the bird pops up from my hands and with a few crisp crackles unfolds flat, revealing lines of text. We gawk at it. You know, normally I would cheer you up by making a joke or baking a cake, but I can't bring myself to do it this time. You failed once in a few dozen experiments, whereas the rest of us succeeded once in as many tries. Besides, what a Magi's career is built upon but a bedrock of failures. If you're still sulking, maybe this will lighten your mood. Ever yours, Ilar. P.S. I lied. Lemony crumples are in the kitchen. It's a letter, I whisper. Why is this symbol glowing? A distraction, like I said. Not for me. It could be a little piece of who I was. I'm already starting to read it. No. In a quick motion, Ilar snatches the letter from me and holds it up. You'll jeopardize both of us with your curiosity. I will not allow it. They make to tear up the letter. Stop it, I shout, grabbing after the letter, catching Ilar's wrist with both hands. They lean away, holding their arms up and back, pulling me right into them. We lose our balance and tumble down, twisting around as we go, crashing to the floor. The weight of them squeezes the air right out of me. I yelp, wincing. Their incredulous gaze softens a little. Are you hurt? The letter drifts down next to us. Their eyes are still on me. It's my chance. My hand shoots out toward the letter, but Ilar's no slouch. Their hand has landed on top of mine before I can take it. I'm trying to wiggle my hand out from under theirs when a shock hits me in my palm. Apparently Ilar felt it too. We stop and see a glow through the flesh of my hand. I then remember the symbol. We stare at each other as a feeling of lightness fills my head. Ilar's eyes droop and their tense body starts to relax into mine. Oh, that's strange. The electricity is moving through me. My arm, now my shoulder, my head. What is... Oh. A cool silence fills me. Vast space opens up within, pushing away the heat of the room. Spots of light in front of me swell and shimmer, joining together into large pools, drowning out the lines, easing away edges and shapes until light is all I see. In lightness I float, breath coming through and opening atop my head, miles wide, filling a breast that's miles deep. I am this lumine space. Coloured spots dance in front of me. Emerald, the green of dreams, a garden. Leaves rustle, cicadas sing, the grass is cool against my back. A soft breeze brushes my hair. The air shimmies with muffled words from someone and snorting laughter from me. I look up. A face resolves into clarity. It spreads into a raucous laughter. Ilar? I try to say something but realise that I can only watch. Ilar is sprawled on their back, one arm folded, a folded cushion for their head. I'm lounging next to them, enjoying the cool shade of the tree on a sweltering summer's day. Vin, a sing-song voice calls me. Heat on my wrist, fingers travelling across the back of my hand. Their eyes peer out from under lush eyelashes. A coy smile pulling the corner of their lips, revealing a dimple. I know what you're thinking. Don't. What, I was not thinking, I retort, playfully pulling my arm free. Ilar rolls over with a grunt and lazily shakes their hand to the side of my neck, snakes their hand. The heat of their skin and the toasty air combined is unbearable. Ugh, stop that, you're cheating. Memory me wiggles pointlessly. My head feels pleasantly fuzzy. Was this how close we were? I'm saving your life is what I'm doing. But, I start to protest. No. Their thumb starts to trace circles on my throat. Slow, excruciating circles. We had a deal. The rest of the day off. I hear myself mumble a vague agreement. Their hand pulls away, leaving equally excruciating absence. Thank Laura. I couldn't have kept that up if I wanted to, they say, collapsing back on the grass, sighing theatrically. Light blooms. Shapes meld together, voices fade. I find myself on the hard floor, the cicada song replaced by mashed potatoes buzzing. Excuse me. A sense of loss hits me like a punch to the gut. Ilar's weight too. My fingers travel to my neck, tracing the memory. My eyes sting. Ilar inhales sharply, their body heaves with quickened breaths. Their heat bring echoes of memory back to me. Ilar? They seem to realise where they are, where I am. They scramble to their feet, to stand there staring at the letter like it's a two-headed frog. Ilar, did you... Please, not right now. The voice falters. I want so desperately to ask that it burns my throat, but I hold it, giving them some time. Heart trying to break out of my chest. Finally, Ilar turns to stare at me with such bewilderment that I wonder if I have two heads as well. They turn around, take 2 strides, look back at me, almost say something, and then vanish. This feels complicated. For a while I just stand with my eyes closed, stroking my neck, tasting the heat, almost hearing the cicadas. But it doesn't last. The buzzing pushes the memory away and I open my eyes to reality, sighing. I turn to the abandoned letter on the floor. Who knew you had such a secret? I tuck it safely in my pocket. I'll never let you go. Slumping onto the couch, I rub my temples. Magi are so complicated. Why couldn't I have woken up as a baker? Then the worst I'd have to worry about is burning some toast. Too late for that. I'll just have to survive now and untangle the knots later. Maybe after all this, I'll take up baking. Taking a deep breath, I tell myself, rest for 50 breaths and then return to the task. Gently patting the pocket of my new friend, I whisper, it seems it's up to us now. You'll protect me, right? You'll stay by my side. A trickle of hope flows into me. 1, 2, 3. $50. Alright, time to go. I dodge through the swirling debris and soon stand before the massive desk, corralling my thoughts. What needs to be done? Copy the sigil, find the black salt, get something sharp, memorize the mantra. All tasks are done by reduction, subtract, divide, execute. Brevity is magic, magic brevity. My heart is racing again at the thought of touching that awful page. I should tear it out and sink it to the abyss before this is done, or else it might haunt me for the rest of my days. I imagine ripping it out and crumpling it into a ball, or maybe shredding it into tiny pieces or setting it aflame. A quiet mewing drifts from somewhere above, breaking me out of the grim exercise. Breaking me out of the grim exercise. I stiffen and take a step back, remembering what Ilar said about the dangers that might lurk here. My spine tingles. I swallow, looking up slowly. From shadows above the giant shelves beside the desk, a melon-sized black shape pokes out. My throat tightens, ready to reach for something to hit with. A pair of pointy ears rise up from the shape and I inhale sharply. It's a puffy-looking black cat. Devani, you nearly scared the waters out of me. It blinks, sniffs the air and then hops down on the table, making nary a sound. Reaching out a hand, I hunch down toward it. It approaches me warily, sniffing, glancing around, head ducked, occasionally wincing. Come, I'll not hurt you. It stops just short of my hand and gives me a flat stare. Ever so delicately, I close the gap and pat it on the head. It immediately purrs deeply and rubs its head into my hand, eyes shut in pleasure. My heart nearly melts. I stroke it all over, feeling its lush fur and the extravagant fuzz on its hind legs. By the Diverna Fuzzpants. Excitement vibrates through me, breaking my voice. Fuzzpants bumps her head firmly into me and purrs. I was starting to worry about you. Where have you been all this time? Are you hurt? Do you remember me? I read about you in Ilar's letter. I scratch it behind the ear. Mashed potato makes a grating buzz and Fuzzpants ducks away. Ears flattening, visibly agitated. He turns around and leaps atop the shelf. I let out a silent, wow. He stands and looks back at me, tail swishing. Wait, where are you going? He raises one paw and jabs it twice in front of her. The gesture is so purposeful that I raise an eyebrow. He flattens her ears, swishes her tail, and then jumps down. Head bumps me and leaps up again. Huh? What's the matter? Don't you want to be back with your human, Ilar? They'll be so excited to see you. Fuzzpants blinks, swishes her tail, and then pads off into the gloom. Hey, wait! And they're gone, I say, dejectedly looking up. The beams and joists high above me seem quite intact. I can't tell at all where the cat had disappeared to. It could probably get to anywhere from the library from here, or even other places in the tower. For a blink, I wish I'm a cat. I smile, recalling the softness in my hands. He's temperamental as a human, that Fuzzpants. Too bad. I like to bring it to Ilar. Then again, I might get another earful for wasting time on distractions. I could almost hear Ilar's accusing tone. Peering up again, I click my tongue. You'll be back sooner or later, right? I could use a friend. I sigh, forcing down the pang of loneliness. Enough. I need to get that spell. I straighten my spine and nod to the journal. You and me, journal. A page turns over by itself. Surprised, I make a face. You're a temperamental one too, aren't you? I turn to page 58 with extreme cautious optimism. A quick darting peek at the sigil. No whispers. I resist the urge to lean in and listen. So far so good. I place upright an overturned pencil holder and pick out a 2B 3mm thickness and a blank sheet of paper from a stock shelf. Civil post size. Fine grain. I haven't noticed these details last time. Lost memories trickling in. This is good, I can do this. I'm in my element. Performance of work. Fulfillment of duty. The confidence seems to jog something loose in my heart. Thoughts spring up. Inquisitive, intelligent, foreign. I hear them like a stranger eavesdropping on myself. The whispers were the problem. Need to drown them out. Use the breath. Through constricted nose. Make it continuous. It makes sense, I realize. I should try that. Taking a breath, letting it fill up my abdomen, then stomach, then chest, I release a thin stream, setting it to rasp against my upper nasal cavity. The rasping is loud enough that I could imagine I'm hearing the tides. The other noises in the library all but disappear. It's working. I open to the sigil and immediately begin to copy. As my breath wanes, I hear a faint, wispy lullaby insinuate itself. No, not that. I take a quick breath and scrunch my nostrils more, forcing the rasp louder. It clashes with the whispers, working, but not for long. My pencil races. My chest starts to burn. The urge to relax my breathing builds. I can't keep this up much longer. The voices hiss louder. My hands start to shake. I'm almost there. Just a little more. Push. Squeezing the air out, chest on fire. Pulse beating loudly in my ears. I finish copying and shut the book. Putting the words to sleep at last, I smile despite the throbbing pain and dizziness. Yes, progress. I cannot wait to see the look on their faces. I roll the paper into a baton and slide it into a pocket. Black salt. Mantra. Something for the blood. 3 more steps. I can do this. I knock on the journal. Don't go anywhere. I'll return soon enough. Dodging the occasional piece of debris is becoming second nature now that I've crossed the barrier so many times. Will they approve? Why should I care? Getting the task done is its own reward, surely. Since it's nice to be praised. Maybe they'll be in a better mood and reveal more of my past to me. That seems as likely as mashed potato deciding to give up and sinking back down. You have to keep your hopes up, right? Not this again. I stop myself just short of walking into a couch. Quiet, all of you, I mutter loudly. Where is Ilar? A soft clink. I turn around, they're not there. My nerves are on edge. Papers rustle nearby. I turn around again. Just a book. Guiding too close. I brush it away. They're really not there. Was it something to do with our last conversation? Why is it always about you? Who else would it be about? Maybe it's about them. They ran away when I asked about us. Was it wrong to ask? What could have happened between us? Curse this useless head of mine. Catching myself talking with my lonesome again, I get up and pace about. You have to cheer up someone else when you're down. Right, I start picking up and glancing at the papers scattered here and there, hushing them. You poor things. More letters? Are those verses? Every waking momentary switch, off track progressing, no wherewithal, things half remembered, that moment of terrible recognition, of the familiar stranger than a drunk dream one never wakes, of friends close, but kept my enemy closer, closer, until they were inside. Unsigned, but written in the same rigorous hand as the journal. I look around the table. How many are there? I wanted to. I've whispered it inside, and almost said it aloud, but whenever I endeavoured to, something would interrupt me. A journal entry required editing, a specimen needed dousing, water sensors need to be refilled, a mantra for the next ritual demanded further articulation, the afternoon tea, and Mapacho? Curiouser and curiouser. Who are these for? I can still do it, you know. My intellect and the knowledge of a lifetime still kill my heart tree. The relics and mantras ready, the homunculus nearing full maturity. Nothing prevents this. No material thing. Why can I not? If only you, if only... Sorrow. My brows wrinkle. Like the whispering in the journal, I cannot suppress the feeling that someone is playing a joke on me. I need it to make sense. How? It's not the thing, it's you. What? Can make no sense because you're looking for a specific kind of sense. What should I do then? Look for a different kind of sense, but how? The inner voice falls silent, soft clinking behind me. I tense up, turn to look expectant. It was only a triplet of glass cups swirling. Still no Ilar for Lura's sake. Where are they? What would they say about these letters? Something cryptic, most likely. Or something funny. Their letters often were. I need something like that now. I jumped to my feet and scanned the streams of flying objects, looking for sparks of vibrancy in the gloom. There, I hasten a spot along the stream, eyes locked onto an ambrosia paper ball above, nearly tipping over a chair. It's too high. The chair. I upright it and step atop. Come on, you, I command my quarry. By the divana, it seems to obey, dropping and spinning toward me. Snatching it, I plop down on the chair and eagerly spread it to read. I know what you're trying to do, and I dearly wish these gestures of yours could erase the words like arithmetics. Affection measured against pain, but it isn't so simple. I'm sorry. I wonder what I was trying to make up for. What else is there? I must have spent a tea time here, resting or talking with Ilar. Surely I can turn that into the same amount of time gathering clues, right? I peer up, moving the chair to a spot with the most activity and climb up, set on plucking anything that resembles a discarded letter. Here comes a few now. One hand on the chair for balance, I reach up with the other and snatch one. In... Deeprend? Do you remember that day? You'd made me promise that I'd ring the bell if I saw you sinking. You looked into my eyes in a way that you've never before, nor again. Looked for so long, so hard that it scared me. And so I promised, even though I don't make promises. Well, I'm telling you now, something's happening to you. To us. Won't you come talk to me? That's a bit worrying. What was I getting into? Back to fishing, another flock comes. Catch one in... this one. Corolith. Sorry for letting you know like this, but I didn't feel like talking. I went out and will not be back until tomorrow. I won't leave you to deal with the Duke by yourself, but I need some distance and time to clear my heart. Were they often so broody, or did I just do a lot of things to foul their mood? Interesting, but I have a hunch that it's not the whole story. One more. I can't sleep again. This worry, it won't leave me be. We've been digging for so long that we forgot why we were doing it. Worse yet, we can't see anything else besides. The things we could have done, places we could have been, yet you keep digging. With heavy eyes, I study the letters. What are you telling me? Fingering frayed edges, spinning them between fingers, I see fragments of a map, shredded, dispersed. If only I had time to piece them together. Not if you had something to say about it, mashed potato. Exhausted, I drag myself to the couch and slump into it, hugging the letters. Didn't realize how hard it was without Ilar around, without anyone. Don't I want to live? Shouldn't that be enough? But I'm so tired. Time to rest. I close my eyes and lie on the couch. Light dims, sound dulls, walls pressed in. Just for a little while, just to freshen up. Maybe Ilar will be here when I wake up. A window latch breaks and rain comes splattering upon me. Warm rain, sticky warm rain. Oh no. I sit up annoyed. This'll be a mess to clean up. I'm drenched already. How long was I asleep? Wiping my face with blood-covered hands, I survey the room. Blood everywhere. Sweet, dark, rippling, a ripe mess. Ilar forgot to close the windows again. Again! Ilar, I shout. Distant rumbles. Where are they? I'll be sunk if I'm cleaning this up myself. Ilar? I march through the halls, up the winding stairs, throwing open the doors to dark, empty rooms. Nothing. Where are they? Ilar? Where are they? Where are they? I realize I'm worried now. Where are they? A trail behind me. I raise my hands to my face, metallic, greasy. Whose blood is this? Am I hurt? I can't find any wounds on me, no pain, nothing. I pinch a bit of skin from my forearm, no pain. Nothing. I feel nothing. No. Ilar, where are you? Ilar? Bolting down the hall, I shout, Ilar! I wake up to my own shouting. Hoarseness burns in my throat. A dream? I bolt upright, sparks swimming in my eyes, hair on the back of my neck tingling. Someone's watching me. Candle flames jitter on the table beside me. Shadows dance. Could I be imagining it? No. I don't know how I know, but I do. Should I look? What kind of question is that? On the count of 3 then. No, now. I carefully turn my head and look into the gloom. Has it always been this dark in the library? Streams of debris undulate lazily through the air, occasionally shuddering in sync with mashed potatoes droning. A pocket of deeper darkness in front of me draws my attention. A pair of golden jewels glint at me while being oddly stationary against the ever-moving debris. I squint. They're not glinting but blinking. And then they start to grow apart, bigger and brighter. I deepen my breaths to stay calm. It'd benefit me none to panic already. I don't even know what that thing is. A jagged, hunched silhouette detaches from the murk, its movement sluggish and unsteady. I remember it slithering out from a darkened doorway and clawing at me. Sliding my feet down onto the floor, I begin backing away, keeping my eyes on the Lucasi. It doesn't react and simply continues creeping in my direction. Its large pointy ears turn to me, revealing slightly pinkish interiors. One of its hands or paws is cupped over its ears and its face is wrinkled up. Come closer and I'll give you something else to be angry about. As I'm considering my options, my heel kicks something. Reaching back, my hand finds a massive bookshelf on one side and unyielding stones on the other. A corner. I grope for something to defend myself with, but get hold of nothing but books. Soft covers at that. Terrific. I guess it'll be an exchange of words then. As the Lucasi moves into the candle's glow, I can make out more details of it than just a black outline. It's much smaller than I remembered, and not nearly as grotesque. Its black fur is rather lush and endowed with a silken sheen. The creature lets out an exaggerated yawn and shudders, revealing a set of vicious teeth, and stretches its arms overhead until its entire body is cartoonishly arched. A pair of large earrings glint dully. It wears jewelry? It's your cat. I'm scoping an escape when mashed potato lets off a rumble and the creature throws its hands over its ears and makes an annoyed meow. I blink. A funny sensation crawls over my scalp. I squint at the creature. Thick black fur around the legs, pointed ears, golden eyes, everything fits. Could it be? Seeing the look on my face, Fuzz. No, I won't use that name until I can be sure. The creature tilts its head toward the arched doorway, a huge tail swishing. An electrical sensation shoots through me at the possibility of it. Go with it? Lurasanti, should I? My feet almost step forward on their own, but Ilar's warning resounds in my head and I pull back. Who are you, I ask. The creature stops and gestures at me to follow again, tail swishing impatiently, then turns away once more. Pressure squeezes my heart. It's leaving. A piece of my past or an irresistible lure. What should I do? Follow Fuzz. The creature's silhouette is melding into the dark again. A tiny voice in my head says, "Go, you fool." Don't tell me what to do, I mutter and hurry after Fuzzpants. She gets into the desk and hops onto it, planting her paw squarely on the open journal, then turns her back to me, reaches her paws back and growls, "Hold." What? I look at the sheer height of the shelf. You cannot be serious. I'm careful with that book. I push her on the shoulder, but he won't budge it. He sighs, waves paws impatiently. Hold on. I give her a flat stare. He pretends not to notice, and I sigh. Ah, sink it. It's not like riding a humanoid cat is the weirdest thing I've done today. I lean on her back and lock my arms together tightly. Hold, he snarls and crouches. Yes, I know, I'm Holt. I yeep as he takes off. A dizzying rush later, we're on top of the shelf. A flash of cold sweat coats my back. Lure on a cow. Wait, I need... mummy. I need a mummy? Moment. We hurtle through the air again. I hold on for dear life as he leaps from one beam to the next, her claws biting into the wood. I don't dare look, but just feel the shock as we land, and the terrifying sway as we dangle. Then a blast of cold air hits me, and we begin to plunge through darkness, a brief eternity later. Oof. Breath is knocked out of me. I'm slammed from every direction, and the world spins and spins and spins. I don't know how long I lie still, but the spinning finally stops. I grunt, spit out a mouthful of grass and open my eyes. Is this the garden? To be continued. Whew, that was rough all in one go. Jesus. Oh, I'm out of coffee too. Pretty much. It's cold. What's there is cold. Anyway. Fascinating. So this one's out in June. I imagine there's different ways that can go because there were choices obviously as we go. If you guys want me to do Act 2 when it does come out, make sure you let me know as well. I'm interested. It's quite bizarre. But I'm interested nonetheless. Let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.